concentration. He lost the basketball. Ball loose on the floor. Esther tries to pick it up. He's got to throw it up at the horn. And it goes! It goes! It goes, baby! A three-pointer! A three-pointer! The Dogs have won it!
And good evening again from Stegman Coliseum in Athens, where the Lady Bulldogs have just finished knocking off Richmond. And part two of the doubleheader is coming up as Georgia will take on Jacksonville State, the Georgia men. The Lady Dogs were 81-53 winners in their season opener. And, well, the men will try to duplicate that. Along with Jeff Dantzler and producer-engineer Michael Williams and our network studio producer Alan Hunt, this is Scott Howard. The pregame show is sponsored by Georgia Power, the official power source of the Georgia Bulldogs. Jeff, certainly what happened in October has been well documented for Georgia. Most of it bad, but the Bulldogs have to put that behind them and focus on the season at hand. It is here, and upsets have been the name of the game so far, both in the exhibition season and as we're finding out in the regular season. Just ask Kentucky and ask Georgia Tech tonight. So that's something that Georgia wants to avoid as they host Jacksonville State this evening.
Well, that certainly, games like that draws the attention of the big boys. Georgia Tech losing earlier tonight to UNC. Greensboro, Kentucky going down to Gardner-Webb. Ohio State, Michigan State have lost exhibition games to Division II opponents. And while Georgia got some very, very tough news, the Dogs will be without Takeas Brown all season, without Mike Mercer for the first 15 games of the year. If there is a positive, this did come before the year, so the team does know what they're facing going in. I think from the excitement point of view, there's a standout point guard in Sundiata Gaines, one of the best ever to play at Georgia, and a lot of very talented young freshmen. I can't wait to see what they've got, and I know the entire Bulldog Nation is excited to see what these big guys have got. Headlined by Jeremy Price, the #1 recruit that Dennis Felton has brought in his days in Athens.
Got a little bit of a preview of the Fab Five, if you will. That may be a little over the top, but in their exhibition game with Clayton State, all guys, all five freshmen got in, and all five really contributed. Looking forward to seeing Zach Swansea as well as a potential backup to Sundiata Gaines.
Well, and Sundiata Gaines cannot go through this season averaging in the big games essentially 40 minutes per game. And what Swansea gives Georgia this year is a viable option to give Gaines a breather, 3-4 minutes in each half, and that should pay huge dividends for the Bulldogs down the stretch.
Georgia and Jacksonville State on the court. Pregame warm-ups going on. We'll be tipping it off. The clock says in less than 27 minutes now.
Nothing like a doubleheader on opening night, right?
It's a beautiful thing. And then Auburn tomorrow on the gridiron. So it's a great weekend for Georgia sports here in Athens. We'll continue with more of the pregame show right after this timeout on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Time now for the Dennis Felton pregame show. It's brought to you by AirTran Airways. Scott Howard along with the coach, Dennis Felton, here at Stegman Coliseum as the Bulldogs get set for their season opener tonight against Jacksonville State. Coach, you had one exhibition game and a few weeks of practice to get ready for tonight. Give me the state of the Bulldogs as you get ready to go into your season opener this evening.
Well, it's a tricky time of year, when you haven't played many games yet, and it's hard to know. We had a scrimmage where we got to know ourselves and got to improve from that, and then we had the exhibition game, and I think more good things than bad happened in the exhibition game. We were able to win that one really easily over a really good Division II team, and we got to play our freshmen a ton, which was really valuable as we move forward and get ready. And so, of course, we've had better experiences so far than a lot of teams around the country who have been struggling in their exhibition games. So we'll know more about ourselves, in a couple of hours after tonight's game.
How much have your plans had to change since you lost some key players in Mike Mercer and Albert Jackson and Takeas Brown, considering your freshman class? I mean, has your thought process changed as far as how much you were going to use them?
Not really. We've always been really, really excited about our freshman class and always confident about the kind of impact they're going to make on our team, not only this year but throughout their career. And you've got to understand, as we were going through our struggles with the few players that had a hard time doing what they needed to do to be on the court, we knew in real time, the fact that they were not doing the things that they needed to do to get ready. So it's kind of I guess I can say I saw it coming. Although we didn't have a purpose to announce the things till they did. And then with Takeas, having to let Takeas go, that's obviously that's something different. But we are really, really excited, Scott, about the guys that are here and the guys that are doing the things that they need to do to be Bulldogs, and showing the kind of how we can rely on them and how their teammates can rely on. And I really, really like our team going into this year. Of course, we'll at many times we'll have freshmen on the floor, but I think they're really talented freshmen. I think they're really enthusiastic and bright, and we'll be able to pick up things. And I think we'll find out more, but I think they're really competitive, and we'll compete and find a way to compete with guys that are older and more experienced than them.
And I think too, and obviously you're excited as we sit here and record this in your brand new office in this new practice facility. I mean, this has got to be an eye-opener when you bring recruits in here. This is a great place to have and a great place to work, I would imagine.
It is. It's a facility that we needed badly, number one, for legitimate reasons in terms of coming in every day and getting work done. And so it's really serving its purpose that way, but it's also serving a couple of other indirect purposes in terms of showing the kind of commitment that we're putting into basketball here at the University of Georgia, and giving ourselves just a very, very impressive tool in recruiting. I mean, when prospects see this place, they can't believe it. It's beautiful. It's so grand, and they get excited about picturing themselves working out in this facility one day in their future. So it's been a big help already.
Well, here we go, the long march to March, and let's hope we're playing deeply into March as we tip off the season with Jacksonville State. Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you, Scott.
That's Georgia head coach Dennis Felton. We'll come back and give you the starting lineups for the Bulldogs and the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State tonight, right after this on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
Bulldog basketball is on the air. You're listening to University of Georgia basketball on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network. The Dogs are brought to you by Regions Bank. Banking is simple again. Dodge. Live strong. Live bold. Live now. Bud Light. Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Citgo. There at every turn. Optium Financial. Mortgage lender to the Bulldog Nation. And by your neighborhood Ford dealers.
Dogs going with the veteran starting lineup tonight. Dave Bliss, Rashad Singleton, Sunday out of Gaines, Terrence Woodbury, and Billy Humphrey. But a slew of newcomers to keep an eye on. And the Bulldog that has gotten the most hype coming into the year is big Jeremy Price. Heavily recruited. Georgia beat out Arizona and Michigan State to get Price. 6'8", 270 out of Columbia High School in Decatur. Big wide body. Chris Barnes, the quick leaper. Jeremy Jacob on the wing. We mentioned Zach Swansea is going to be able to come in and spell Sunday out of Gaines for some minutes at the point. And also Troy Brewer coming in. He did not start as a high school junior. He backed up a pretty good player named Kevin Durant. Then he took over the starring role last season. Coach Dennis Felton and the staff very excited about this freshman class.
Yeah, Brewer was pretty impressive last Friday in the game against Clayton State, as he was 4 out of 8 from the field, hit 3 of his 7 3-point attempts, had a pretty good shot going, and we get ready to tip it off. Georgia in white, Jacksonville State in red, tops and bottoms with a little bit of white and black trim. Georgia in their home whites with red, black, and silver trim. And we've got a little bit of a lighting issue here in the Coliseum tonight. It's kind of like the old days. I think we've got a bank that's not working properly, as there's the toss and the tip as Singleton jumps for Georgia, and the Dogs control the tip, and they'll work from left to right to get it started as Billy Humphrey, by Woodbury in the paint, feeds it to Gaines, and he'll carry it across as the Dogs move from left to right. Singleton feeds Humphrey on the far side. Jacksonville State in a man-to-man. Woodbury down the right side of the lane. Ball fake, puts it up, blocked by Moji from Senegal. Gets it back to Gaines. Gaines, the dribble and the drive, bounces off the rim, and good for the first points of the season for Georgia. Go to Sundiata Gaines.
Sundiata Gaines very strong. He's crafty around the basket. Was the Dogs' leading rebounder a year ago. Montgomery, Bevel State, Nick Murphy from the Bronx.
It's got some good basketball background, doesn't it? Or at least the sound does. And Sundiata Gaines would know about that as Singleton takes the feed from the wing from Woodbury and dunks it with two hands to make it 6-4.
Good job there by Rashad Singleton with the pivot. Dogs doing a nice job getting the ball inside to the big guy.
Again for a three, right side, no good, off the rim, rebounded by Woodbury. Takes it up the floor. Terrence drives, he'll stop and shoot, and he'll pop a long two-pointer from just right of the circle. His first points of the night.
Well, nice job. Terrence Woodbury got his feet set and was able to bury it. Georgia scoring in transition. Jacksonville State, Georgia with one. It's on Gaines.
Sundiata to inbound, left of the basket. Bounce it in to Jeremy Jacob, and a pass and a score. A lay-in by Jacob, the freshman just into the ball game, scores on his first play.
Yeah, great for Jeremy Jacob. First points right underneath the bucket. Dogs picking him up out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana by way of Hargraves.
His putback won't go. Jacksonville State with the rebound. Stolen at half court by Big Singleton. He feeds back to Rashad in the front court. Here's a three by Humphrey, good from the right wing. Dogs lead it 11-8.
Well, Weathers had the block, but tried to get the pass up over the Empire State Building, and Singleton made the play.
That's J.J. Wesley, a 5'9 freshman. He hit the three to give Jacksonville State a 2-point lead. It's 13-11, and now here comes full court pressure after the points.
Yeah, that's the second time Jacksonville State's gotten a three in transition.
13-11, Dogs with the ball, trailing by two. Humphrey into the front court, working top of the key against a one-on-one defense. Go right side to Swansea, picks up the dribble, feeds it inside. Nice move by Singleton. Spin away from the defender, and he dunked it with some authority.
That was a fastball there from Swansea. A terrific pass, put it right on the numbers, and textbook from Rashad Singleton.
The guys in red will take it up the other end of the floor. Ball fake by Tolles, feed it to Wesley. He misses a long three. Flat rebound picked up by Butler. He goes to Swansea, diagonal to Humphrey, driving in from the right side for the lay-in.
Well, the diagonal past the key. Georgia had numbers in the 2-on-1. Dogs back out in front. Georgia, great job, ball distribution, 5 assists on 7 field goals.
Baseline, and Jacksonville State has a 2-point lead.
Yeah, did a great job with body control there to avoid the charge into Jeremy Price, who had good position.
Humphrey has it now, dribbles and looks back over his right shoulder to the bench to get the play from Coach Dennis Felton. Bounce feed to Swansea, right side. 2 dribbles, feed it into Bliss. Right of the lane, holds it high. Pivots, kicks it out to Brewer. Here's a three. Good! Troy Brewer, that's the shot that he has to hit this season to get plenty of playing time. He knocked down his first 3-point attempt, and the Dogs lead it 18-17. Dogs wanted some basket interference. Moji tipped it up and in for 2. Swansea works against 3 guys in the backcourt, spins and dribbles his way up the floor. Deep penetration, feeds Bliss with the ball fake and a lay-in by Big Dave Bliss, one of the co-captains on this Georgia squad. The other captain, Sundiata Gaines, on the bench with 2 fouls here in the half. Bynum, the runner, is good. And quickly, the Gamecocks go back in front by a point, 23-22.
And Bynum into double digits with 10 points.
Here's Swansea going to dribble and drive right down the middle, and he lays it up good with a bit of a finger roll. Zach Swansea with his first points.
Well, the 2 quick fouls on Sunday out of Gaines. Zach Swansea bringing the Bulldogs a big lift and a burst of energy off the bench at the point.
Okay. Bounce feed right side, or left side, or other, to Brewer. Singleton sets a screen. Troy Brewer from Maryland on the pick and roll to Singleton. Underneath the basket, and a reverse layup good for Rashad Singleton. A nifty move by the big guy.
Not even a half in, and Singleton looks so much more comfortable on the low blocks. He had a terrific offseason.
Just got the rebound, gives it to Swansea. Up ahead, right corner to Humphrey. Humphrey with a crossover, drives edge of the right side of the lane and knocks down about a 12-footer. Billy Humphrey has it rattle in there, and Georgia leads it 28-23.
Well, Nick Murphy just left him, had him defended well. Humphrey made a nice ball fake off a pass. Even more time.
Yeah, so far so good. 8:49 to go. We feed it to Price. Jump pass across the lane to Jacob for the dunk.
I love the way the Dogs are moving the ball. That's Georgia's 9th assist on the Bulldogs' 13th field goal.
3 by Jacksonville State won't go. Basketball, the Dogs up by 7. And with the ball is Woodbury. Runs it into the front court, working against Ginn. Go to Swansea on the left side. Down low to Price. Price faces the basket, leans in, scoop it up and in. The big guy, freshman, looks like a veteran on that play.
Yeah, that's a big boy play right there. Great job by Price. Dogs outboarding Jacksonville State 17-9. Glass and 9 assists on the 14 field goals. That's a great percentage.
Jumper, right side, Woodbury has it rattle out on the 2. Rebounded by Humphrey, and the putback around the rim and good by Billy. He's got 9 points in the ball game, and Georgia leads at 34-25.
Plus 10 on the glass now.
Lane hooks it up, won't go, falls off to the right side. Rebounded by Swansea on the run. Lob diagonal to Brewer. Touch pass to Price. Running lay-in by the big man. Good. Nifty pass by Troy Brewer. These guys look like they've been playing together forever.
Right, and that's why Price is the most highly touted freshman that Georgia coach Dennis Felton has signed. He altered the shot on the defensive end, and then look at him at 6'8", 268, running the floor, finishing and a chance for a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
37-34, and Price to the free throw line. Timeline, he works against the 5'6" Bray. Humphrey, top of the key, pivoting, and flipping it back to Brewer now, stands near the center circle. Give it to Swansea, he'll call the play, 16 on the shot clock. Swansea bounce feed to Price, top of the key, in the circle. He launches and scores a 17-footer by Jeremy Price as he claps and backpedals to play defense.
I love great post players, and Jeremy Price certainly has the makings of being a dandy. A great start in his Bulldog career.
41-36, Dogs with the ball. They throw it into Woodbury. Almost to the half-court line. Terrence carries it across, fires it to the near side to Swansea. Swansea with a bounce feed inside to Jacob. Jacob splits the defense and lays it up and in with a soft touch. Georgia leads at 43-36.
Yeah, Jeremy Jacob with a nice move. Really like him. Just a natural at the 3, 6'7", 210-pounder out of Baton Rouge.
State out of Alabama. Dogs 44, Jacksonville State 39, and Swansea walks it into the front court from left to right. Gives it to Humphrey as the Dogs put their offense in motion. Humphrey with a screen from Bliss, fires up a 3 from the left wing. Good. Billy Humphrey with his first three-pointer of the night gives him 13, and the Dogs lead it by 8.
Put 0.4 of a second on the clock.
Put 4 seconds on?
Whoa.
No, 0.4. That's right.
Yeah.
0.4.
Yeah.
So they could actually get a shot off.
Yes, they would have to catch and shoot.
0.4 of a second.
Catch and shoot.
And it will be DeAndre Bray will inbound it across the way.
Ginn should have shot the 3 when he had it.
Bray looks to throw it in. Humphrey guarding the ball. They slide it into King. He catches at the elbow, puts it up, hits the back iron, and it is no good. That was close, but Jose King missed the shot. They got it off, but didn't count as it didn't go, and that's the end of the first half. Georgia leading Jacksonville State by 6, 47-41. Halftime at Stegman Coliseum in Athens, and we'll continue right after this timeout on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
47-41, Dogs over Jacksonville State. Just about set to start the second half. Our State Farm Insurance Athlete of the Week, like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. Oh, I love tailbacks, and the Dogs have a dandy. Georgia's best since at least 1992. No Sean Marino, third straight game over 100 yards, a personal best 196, and Georgia's 44-34 win over Troy. He's already over the 1,000-yard barrier, and he'll lead Georgia into the 111th meeting with Auburn in the South's oldest rivalry tomorrow afternoon, a 3:30 kickoff between the hedges. Well, so far so good. A track meet here tonight at the Stegman Coliseum. Jacksonville State knocking down the threes. Georgia moving the ball nicely and controlling the boards. 47-41. Dogs by a half dozen over Jacksonville State. And here with the second half story is Mr. Howard.
All right, thank you, sir. 47-41, as you mentioned. That's our halftime score. We'll see Sunday out of Gaines, a well-rested Sunday out of Gaines, start the second half. Free throw by Brown, missed another one. That one rimmed out and rebounded by Singleton. So Brown misses a chance at 3 points. Dogs take it up the floor. Gaines lost the handle at midcourt, got it back.
It's the Matt Jones Memorial.
quite that bad. Humphrey off the curl, 3-ball straight away, won't go. Rebounded by Woodbury, and the drive and the lay-in is good by Terrence Woodbury, the 6'7 junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Nobody got a body on Woodbury. That's an easy two. Dogs doing a great job going to the offensive glass.
49-41, his second miss, and quickly get it up into the front court. Humphrey goes inside to Bliss. He's covered up by 3 defenders. They'll get it back out to Woodbury, or excuse me, to Sundiata Gaines on the far side.
Good job on the low blocks. Singleton altered one, and Bliss got a piece of one.
Woodbury drives in, left block spins through 3 defenders, scooped it up and in. How did he do that? He had red shirts all over him, and Terrence gets it to go. He's got 6 in the game, and the Dogs lead it by 10. Their big lead of the contest. Into the front court, works against the 5'6 DeAndre Bray. Gaines, who only played 4 minutes in the first half. Well rested. We go into Price on the block. Big guy with a drop step into the lane. Lay it up and in. Good. Boy, that's nice to see.
Yes, it is. Florida dominated the SEC with Al Horford and Joakim Noah. And Georgia's got a very good freshman. Half feet that you've got to get it over when he's got those arms extended.
Dogs on an 8-0 run out of the locker room, leading it 55-41 now. Inside to Price, and the two-handed jamma slamma.
I like him. Oh, boy, you know, Scott, I love those post players, love what the Gators did, love Big Baby Davis. And Coach Felton told me when I talked to him earlier this year, Jeff, you're going to love Jeremy Price.
Tolles missed a runner inside. It is rebounded by Singleton all along to Butler. Another slam to Price as Butler gets the assist. And a long pass to get it started from Rashad Singleton. Price now with 16 points on back-to-back two-handed jams from the freshman.
And how about a 12-0 run to start the second half, and the big fella has this crowd on their feet.
Timeout. Jacksonville State try to stop the bleeding. 15:33 to go in the game. Georgia's jacked it up by 18, 59-41. Timeout. Back in a moment. Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Dogs throw it in. Leading it 59-41. Humphrey at the point now for Georgia. Carries it across the timeline from right to left. Man-to-man defense by Jacksonville State. The Dogs have stretched it out to an 18-point lead, 59-41. Here's Gaines. Penetration, jump stop, layup and in. A little windmill double pump by Sundiata Gaines. It's 61-41 Dogs.
The presence of Jeremy Price had a lot to do with that. They couldn't come and help Gaines. Somebody had to stay on Price. And by the way, he's a great screen setter also.
He's a wide body.
You were 6'1". You just see Price, as big as he is, he's a natural.
Price, long-range jumper, just inside the 3, won't go. Rebounded by Singleton. He puts it up around the rim once and falls through good. Rashad Singleton with back-to-back buckets. He's in double figures for only the second time in his career. He's got 10 points. Moji for 3, left corner. Air ball right into the hands of Gaines. He'll press it up the floor. Sundiata runs, makes contact. Inside, leans in, misses the jumper, back rim, rebounded by Butler, ball fake, and he puts it up and in, and it scores, and a foul on the play. Corey Butler with some hard work, and he gets the dividends.
Call it 20-0 to open up the second half for the Dogs, and great to see with Corey Butler, who last year emerged as one of Georgia's top defenders. Great to see him get the candy at the other end, and Jeremy Price and Billy Humphrey are going to go out, and we're going to see, for the first time officially as a Bulldog, the 5th freshman, Chris Barnes, out of Riverdale.
Rimmed out, no good, 1 for 8. Jacob got the rebound for the Dogs. 68-45 the score. Woodbury fakes the 3, right corner, drives into the right edge of the lane, kicks it out to Swansea, top of the key. They go to Jacob just left of the circle. He rattles in a 3. Jeremy Jacob with his first long-distance jumper of the night. He's got 9 points in the ball game, and Georgia leads at 71-45. Backdoor feed from Jacksonville State. They missed the little runner on the right baseline. Rebounded by Jacob. Up ahead to Swansea. Long pass to Barnes. Down on the other end. He lays it in and is fouled hard from behind as he's knocked to the floor. He made the bucket. He'll get a 3-point opportunity.
And that's what the Dogs love so much about Chris Barnes. Big and athletic, doing a great job getting out and running the floor. That foul on Moji, his 4th. And Chris Barnes now on the board as a Bulldog. And when you look ahead to who the Bulldogs have verbally committed already for this upcoming signing class, you look at what this front line could be in 08 and 09. It could be Georgia's best since going back to 03 when you had Daniels, Hayes, and Steve Thomas.
A lot to be excited about.
You betcha.
As Barnes knocks down the free throw. 74-45 go in the game. Bray, one-handed bounce pass down the lane to Weathers. Has it knocked away, stolen by Georgia. Swansea on the run. In stride, hits Jacob. 2 steps, lay in good. And he high steps back the other way. What a pass by Zach Swansea. And Jacob finished it off on the other end of the floor.
Jacob really getting out, running the floor well, just like Chris Barnes. And Georgia stretching the lead with all the big guys on the bench.
76-45, 11:44 to go. 6'7" freshman free throw. That one off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Singleton. He waits for the defender to get up in the air, and then he lays it up and in.
Boy, it's all clicking for Rashad Singleton tonight. Just has terrific instincts. Is playing so relaxed, and Jacksonville State just threw it away. So the Dogs are going to get the ball back. As we saw so many times last year, Gaines had to go wire to wire way too many times.
80-50, Georgia leads. Murphy on the give and go, tries to lay it up, couldn't get it to drop. Dogs with the rebound. And Gaines, a diagonal 45-foot pass to Woodbury to the opposite side of the floor. Terrence finishes the deal as he lays it up and in. Another assist for Sundiata and a perfect pass from just inside the half-court line. 84-50, Dogs by 34, big lead of the game. Murphy's shot is rejected by Barnes, picked back up by Murphy, and he gets rejected again as he tried to pass it out of trouble. Gaines has it on the run. Gaines decides to keep it, misses. There's Barnes for the follow and the big two-handed jam.
There's another big guy, 6'7", 250, running the floor. Gets a block on the defensive end, the putback jam there. Georgia got 10 block shots tonight. State was lights out from beyond the arc, but the Dogs have controlled the block and controlled the backboard all game long.
Dogs with a chance at 100 here. 6.5 minutes to go. 86-53. Throw it into Barnes. Barnes, a little soft touch kiss off the glass as the defender tried to draw the charge. He fell down, and Barnes had clear sailing in front of him.
6'7", but Barnes has got a little bit more beef there. And look at the big guy getting another board. Number 4 for Jeremy Price.
Brown missed both free throws. Dogs quickly run out, and Barnes missed the runner. The rebound followed up by Jacob, and he scored on the putback. And Jacob, he loves it when he scores. He hops his way back down the floor. Price on the left baseline. Back to Barnes, lost the handle, picked up by Swansea. No-look dish inside to Price, touch pass across to Jacob, give it to Barnes, banker off the glass, good. Oh, that got everybody's hands but Brewer on that one play.
How do you like that? Georgia passed the ball a total of 5 times within the span of 4.5 seconds, and within the total span of, what, about 8 feet maybe?
Yeah, it was
Great
all
job.
in the paint.
Great job, and all freshmen on the floor.
Circles, right side to Jacob. Jacob leans in with a right-hand dribble and jumps and fires across to Brewer. We go back to Singleton. Singleton in the left low block, spins to the baseline, reverse layup, good. It hung on the rim and fell, and he drew the foul. Look at Rashad Singleton. He's developed that shot during the offseason.
He's got 14 and 8 tonight. He'll go to the line.
Well,
Chance.
14 matches his career high, and again, only the second time he's been in double figures.
13 and 7, 10 and 3 for Chris Barnes, 8 and 7 for Terrence Woodbury, 13 for Billy Humphrey.
Free throw by Singleton, no good, but the Dogs get the rebound. Jacob, turn around on the right baseline. It won't go. Hanging on the rim. Brewer flies in and puts it back in. Troy Brewer with the basket, and that's his first second-half points. He's got 5 in the game.
Well, that's also his first board. He was probably hearing about that. He's the only Dog that hadn't had a rebound so far tonight.
97-55 right in to make it 97-58.
Well, Rashad Singleton officially with 5 block shots. I think he's closer to about 7.
Singleton on the right baseline, a little 8-footer, puts it up and in, 99-58. Good start to the season for Rashad Singleton. 99-60, Georgia by 39 points. Dogs get the ball to Swansea at midcourt. He'll lob it on the alley-oop. Oh, yes, oh! Chris Barnes gets the fans up on their feet with an alley-oop slam dunk, and that puts the Dogs over the century mark, 101-60. Three-pointer is missed by Wesley for Jacksonville State. They'll try it again. Oh, make it 2 in a row. Swansea from 30 feet with a lob to Barnes, who finishes with a two-handed slam. Swansea with a steal on the other end. It's 103-60. Swansea will try a 3 after a behind-the-back dribble. He missed it from high on the left wing. Rashad Singleton with a double-double tonight. Jeremy Jacob with a double-double as well. And Zach Swansea has 10 assists in the ball game, and he's dribbling with 9 seconds on the clock. Throws it to Barnes. Inside to Price. Price puts it up and in as he fades away to the left side. 3 seconds to go. 107-65. Jacksonville State inbounds it. And Ginn fires up a long three-pointer at the horn. That's the final. Georgia wins it in a runaway with a dominating performance in the second half. Georgia 107, Jacksonville State 65.
Dogs in the second half outscored Jacksonville State 60-24. And how about the fabulous freshman Jeremy Price leading the way with 18 points. Georgia with 5 players in double figures in scoring, 2 players double digits in rebounding, and Zach Swansea with 10 assists off the bench at the point.
107-65 the final. We'll have the AT&T Call of the Game coming up next here on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Scott Howard, Jeff Dantzler, producer-engineer Michael Williams back in Athens, courtside at Stegman Coliseum, where Georgia has an impressive season-opening win, 107-65 over Jacksonville State. Time now for the AT&T Call of the Game. This contest was a 6-point game at intermission. Georgia had a 47-41 lead. Good, solid, competitive first half, and then Georgia came out on fire in the second half. A 21-0 run to start the second half put this game away for all intents and purposes. And here's our AT&T Call of the Game, part of that 21-0 run. Dogs on an 8-0 run out of the locker room, leading at 55-41. Now inside to Price, and the two-handed jamma slamma. Tolles missed a runner inside. It is rebounded by Singleton all along to Butler. Another slam to Price as Butler gets the assist. And a long pass to get it started from Rashad Singleton. Price now with 16 points on back-to-back two-handed jams from the freshman. 15:33 to go in the game. Georgia's jacked it up by 18, 59-41.
Dogs outscored Jacksonville State 60-24 in the second half. Not only did Price have back-to-back possessions with dunks, so did Chris Barnes. The 107 points tonight, the most that the Bulldogs have scored in the Dennis Felton era, and the most in a season opener since the 80-81 season when Georgia beat Troy State 108-65 in the debut games of 2 all-time Georgia legends, James Banks and Vern Fleming. I don't know if we're going to have another Banks and Fleming coming out of this. It would be great if we had 3 or 4. But without question, fantastic debuts, and especially what you see out of Jeremy Price at wide body, 18 points, 5 boards. Jeremy Jacob goes 13 and 10. Chris Barnes doing almost everything in the second half, goes 14 and 3. Zach Swansea with 10 assists in his debut. A terrific, terrific performance from Georgia's young rookies.
You just wonder how you can have 2 entirely separate halves. I mean, the way this first half was going, 47-41. Of course, Sunday out of Gaines set for about 15, 16 minutes because he picked up 2 quick fouls. But I thought Zach Swansea certainly held his own in that first half. The freshman finishes with 10 assists in the ball game. But it was like a light switch went on for Georgia at intermission when they came out in the second half. And Jacksonville State could not score, and Georgia couldn't help from scoring.
Yeah, there's no question about it, and we made this point a couple times during the game. With Gaines getting those 2 early personals, it would have been very difficult for Georgia to manage that a year ago because the Dogs didn't have another true point guard. So you roll the dice and either play him with the 2 or you go to the bench, or you're playing somebody who's not a true point. But here, having another point guard, not only did Swansea come in and log a lot of minutes, he did a great job, and Gaines didn't even have to play the rest of the first half. And those types of things should prove hugely beneficial for Georgia down the stretch when we get into SEC play.
Dogs had 5 players in double figures tonight, 2 of whom recorded a double-double. Now, Jeremy Jacob is one of those guys that had a double-double, the freshman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 13 points, 10 rebounds. This after having 0 rebounds in the exhibition game against Clayton State.
You think he heard about that a little bit?
He had nothing.
The old Hugh Durham, have you ever heard it when he asked a former player, have you ever heard of Jimmy Hoffa? No, coach. Well, he's dead, and y'all have the same number of rebounds. So Jacob went out and grabbed 10 tonight. And Rashad Singleton with the best game of his career. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 block shots.
Final score, Georgia 107, Jacksonville State 65. Up next for the Bulldogs Wednesday night here at Stegman Coliseum against Grambling State.
And a credit here to the stat crew, by the way. They go back and fix it. Singleton officially credited now 7 block shots. So 16, 10, and 7. Heck of a night.
Indeed, for Rashad Singleton, the junior. And up next, Ed Voiles Honda Player of the Game when we continue. Final score again tonight, Georgia 107, Jacksonville State 65. Back in a moment, Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Big night for the Dogs on opening night. They win it easily, 107-65, with a thrashing of Jacksonville State in the second half. Stay tuned. The Ed Voiles Honda Player of the Game. We'll talk with Coach Dennis Felton. That's all ahead here on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
You've been listening to University of Georgia basketball on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network. The Dogs have been brought to you by the new AT&T, your world delivered. Budweiser, reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Red Baron Pizza, official pizza of the Georgia Bulldogs. Your local Chrysler dealers, Chrysler, engineered beautifully. The Georgia Farm Bureau, helping you is what we do best. Verizon Wireless, proud sponsor of the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network. And by AirTran Airways. Go. There's nothing stopping you.
Back here at Stegman Coliseum, along with Jeff Dantzler, Scott Howard with you, Michael Williams, our producer-engineer, Alan Hunt, our network studio producer in Atlanta, Georgia. A winner tonight in their season opener, 107-65. And as far as the season openers go, the 107 points, very impressive because that amount hasn't been put on the board in a while.
Yeah, not since the 1980-81 season got underway. That was a...
All right, back here at Stegman Coliseum following tonight's Georgia victory, 107-65. We've been joined now by Georgia head coach Dennis Felton. And, Dennis, congratulations. The season opener went just as you planned, I guess. Keep it close in the first half and blow them out in the second.
Well, I was just telling the print media that, they asked me how I felt in the first half. Did I ever start feeling queasy with all the so-called upsets going on around the country? And we find ourselves in a close game with Jacksonville State. And I told them I don't need a close game to remind me the fact that we can lose to anybody. And, just like all of us. In these games that everybody thinks are just gimmies, I just don't believe there's any such thing. And when we're able to play well enough to beat somebody easily, I'm just grateful that we played that well to beat him easily. But you saw how capable Jacksonville State was and what a challenge they were to us in terms of being really quick and their offense designed to take advantage of that by spacing the floor and driving it and kicking. And they got a lot of guys who can shoot the three. And then tonight they even they spent a lot of time with four guards on the floor. And we just wanted to impose our will upon them. We wanted our big guys to do a better job of guarding their guards than their guards could do of guarding our big guys, and we were able to pull it off.
Well, no question, dominating on the blocks. And, Coach, my favorite wins are the ones when a negative turns into a positive. And with Sundiata picking up those two quick fouls, you have the luxury of having a pure point guard to bring in now. That's something that we couldn't do last year. I thought Zach came in and did a great job. That has to give him a lot of confidence. And also, last year when we were going through that stretch, fighting for our lives to try and get to the NCAA tournament, Sundiata was just logging so many minutes. So that's the type of thing I think we'll really see the benefits down the stretch, because you've got to figure Sundiata is going to be a lot fresher down the stretch this year.
Yeah, well, like I said coming in, I was really excited about Zach because he's a natural point guard. He's got the instincts for it, and you see what kind of vision he has. And what kind of passer he is. To come out in his first college game and have 10 assists is huge, and his development is really, really important to our team because, number one, like you said, we can't afford to have Sundiata, just playing all game, every game. And then also, God forbid if Sundiata got injured, we've got to be able to, turn to somebody, and we'd like Zach to be that guy. And I'll tell you what, when obviously Sundiata, I mean, he got put out the game right early in the opening minutes, and we found ourselves in a tough game the entire rest of the half, the first half. But the reason our team was able to never feel any panic was because Zach came in and did such a good job. So if Zach would have come in and faltered, it would have really hurt the confidence of our team and made things really difficult for us. But he didn't falter. He prospered, and it's good to see. He hit some stride in the last game, the exhibition game. And then he had a chance to do it again today. And one thing that's really encouraging about it, too, is that little number 5 is very, very aggressive, very steal-oriented, and absolutely quick and gets up under you and can take your ball. So Zach will have a lot of different challenges throughout the college season, but that's one that I'm really happy to see him pass tonight in terms of he was able to handle the ball against that kind of real quick defender and not only take care of it but do a terrific job.
107-65, the final. Georgia defeats Jacksonville State, the season opener. We'll talk more with Coach Dennis Felton when we come back on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
I don't know how good is North Dakota State.
Hang on, stand by.
Back here at Stegman Coliseum, Bulldogs a winner tonight in their season opener, beating Jacksonville State 107-65. This was a 6-point game at half. We're with Coach Dennis Felton here courtside, and Dennis, you outscored the opposition by 36 in the second half. You came out of the locker room and just really controlled the ball game, 21-0 run. Talk about that time span and being able to keep Jacksonville State off the board over that stretch. What are you guys doing?
Well, that's primarily, we only said one thing about offense the whole halftime, and that's that I wanted the ball in the post every possession. But we spent all the rest of our time talking about defense, and we talked about, number one, transition defense. They were pushing it up really, really fast on us on everything, makes and misses, and I think we counted them for 20 points in transition, including we thought they had 4 of their threes in transition for 12 of them. So we talked about doing a better job with transition defense. We talked about settling in and doing a better job of containing the drive. We also talked about doing a better job. They do a lot of dribble handoffs or flip backs, or they counter that with back cuts. So we talked about, and when we're pushing out and denying passes, we talked about instead of putting our body in the passing lane like we do, Lou, we just wanted our arm in the passing lane so we could still push out aggressively like we like to do, but fight the back cut better. We reminded them of something that was a big emphasis going into the game, and that is not to help up on drivers. They got a few where they drove the lane and our posts helped up and they threw it underneath us for layups or fouls. And we had a few over helps. In other words, you're guarding a guy behind the three-point line on the wing. The guy drives, down your lane line. And JJ was really responsible for a lot of these where he was over helping. He was helping on a guy that was driving but wasn't necessarily getting by us. And so we gave up some threes that way. So we talked about the things we needed to do to defend the three-point line better. We talked about the things that we needed to do to guard the ball penetration better, just one-on-one on the ball. And we came out in the second half and just really settled in and did that very well. So they didn't have the same openings for high-quality shots to begin the second half as they did in the first half. And then we continued to score well, and we got more persistent with putting the ball inside every possession. And I think, kind of those things, two things together maybe broke their spirit a little bit. But I knew we opened the game up quickly to a 20-point lead, but I didn't know it was a 21-0 run.
Yeah.
We talk about consecutive stops, and at our first time out at just under 16 minutes, the first media timeout, we knew that we had 6 consecutive stops to start the half, and so we talked about that, and we didn't really pay too much attention to score. We just paid attention to what we wanted to accomplish.
It was more than 6.5 minutes that they went without a point in the second half as he really grabbed control of the ball game and go on to the 107-65 win over Jacksonville State. We'll talk more with the coach right after this timeout on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Dogs off to a 1-0 start. Grambling up next. That'll be next Wednesday here at Stegman Coliseum at 7:30. We hope you can come on out for that ball game. The Dogs dominate Jacksonville State with a brilliant second half, 107-65 the final score tonight. And before we rejoin the coach, let's pause for station identification on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.
I thought the best stat tonight, Coach, when you talk about the work in the paint, to shoot 54% and get 26 second-chance points. That's 13 stickbacks. The OER, the offensive efficiency, was just off the charts tonight.
Yeah, it really was. Scoring was never a problem for us all night long. And, we pounded them on the glass, and we want to. We thought we ought to. We wanted to this game. We want to get a lot of work. We want to beat people badly on the glass every night. We want to be the best rebounding team in the country. And tonight's a good start. Obviously, we got a whole lot more challenges in front of us. But how about Rashad? I mean, he, in 21 minutes to get 6 offensive rebounds and 10 total, 7 blocks. That's terrific. I mean, and Terrence got 4 in just 19 minutes. So those two easily did the most damage. And, for Yada, our point guard, to get 2 in just 14 minutes is pretty good too.
Yeah, and Singleton and Price look very comfortable playing together. That could be a heck of a combination down low when you got the wide body and then Rashad with the long arms.
Sure. Yeah, Rashad is, you can see he's a much improved player, and he's so much bigger and stronger now, so he doesn't, I think it ought to be a rare occasion that he ever gets pushed around anymore, and that's helping his confidence in his overall game. And, one thing we've, we all are used to seeing what we've watched the last 2 years out of Rashad offensively, and he was always so hesitant to do everything. So this fall, we just started a new policy with Rashad where once he does his move, he has to just go right into a shot. He's not allowed to stop. He's not allowed to hesitate. He's not allowed to shot fake. He's got to just go right into it, and it's really fun seeing him, start to, see, how successful it can be, because he just, he used to always just, he used to stop himself a good bit. But the other thing that's really, really helping his offensive game too is that he's not so pressed to score. He's passing the ball like never before, and he's doing a great job of making that diagonal skip pass to the other side to shooters. And the more he does that, the more he's going to keep defenses off balance, and now they can't gang up on him like they used to. Guys, people just used to gang up on Rashad when he got it because, number one, they knew he really wanted, to try to score rather than keep an open mind, and they knew there was a chance if they just came at him hard, he would hesitate and give him an opportunity to make a play on him. So he's showing terrific growth. That's easily the best game of his career. 8 for 11 from the field, 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 blocks in just 21 minutes.
Those are all career highs for Rashad Singleton. He had quite a line tonight.
And, one thing, coming into this game, I think you'll see us, be flexible with our starting lineup. Well, first of all, we're always going to play guys based on how hard they play and how they're performing every day in practice and things. But also, we'll probably be flexible with our front court a little bit in terms of, the matchup that particular night. And I was a little, we were, just slightly concerned about starting David and Rashad tonight, even though they had earned it in practice just because of the matchup. We knew that David was going to be guarding a guy out on the floor, and it was going to have to guard a lot of dribble penetration. But at least I know that David he's real smart and has a good understanding of how he's got to do it. And then, most of the second half, Jeremy Price was having to guard not just on the perimeter, but having to guard a guard on the perimeter, and he did an outstanding job. Matter of fact, I can't think of one time he got blown by, and he actually turned the guy over. Once, maybe twice, who was trying to, juke him off the dribble from 20 feet. So it all worked out well tonight.
Well, Coach, great first game. Congratulations, 107-65, and get them ready for Grambling on Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.
That's Coach Dennis Felton, Bulldogs 1-0, and Jeff and I will be back for more from Stegman Coliseum right after this timeout on the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Dogs with an impressive season opener. 5 players in double figures, led by freshman Jeremy Price. 2 guys at double-doubles. Rashad Singleton, the junior, 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 block shots. Those were all career numbers for Rashad Singleton. Also, Jeremy Jacob with 13 points and 10 rebounds. Billy Humphrey finished with 13, and Chris Barnes had 14, most of those coming in the second half. Dogs win at 107-65. Next game, Wednesday night, Stegman Coliseum against Grambling. As that game will get underway at 7:30. We'll be on the air with you at 7 o'clock for the pregame show. Don't forget, tomorrow, college football action for the Bulldogs as they host Auburn. Tailgate show at 12:30, kickoff at 3:30. Postgame show has been brought to you by Lowe's, let's build something together, and by Charter Communications. For Michael Williams, our producer-engineer, and Jeff Dantzler, and our studio producer in Atlanta, Alan Hunt, Scott Howard saying so long from Athens, Georgia. A winner tonight, 107-65 over Jacksonville State. So long, everyone.
This has been a production of WSB Sports. You've been listening to University of Georgia Basketball on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network.